That said, and it is one of my most important observations, our democratic institutions have remained robust in the face of attempted foreign interference.
Okay, we have some breaking news to bring you now about the Liberal leadership campaign.
The rapid response mechanism that is set up to detect instances of foreign interference has detected that there was an attempt on the leadership campaign of Chrystia Freeland, and that attempt was made through accounts linked to the People's Republic of China.
Well, foreign interference on a Friday night definitely was not on my bingo card. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I just finished putting my kids down. I come out and boom, breaking news. Chrystia Freeland is being targeted by the PRC, the People's Republic of China. Now, there's been a few different outlets that have been reporting on this so far. As you saw from the opener, David Cochran, the CBC with Rosemary Barton. We have a brief little blurb here, but it links basically to their video, which we'll be checking out in a second. We have the global news that's reported to it, the CTV. And also on Twitter, we have the Government of Canada's newsroom, which actually links to the Government of Canada's actual webpage. The statement from the government's website talks about global affairs rapid response mechanism, the site task force, which detects all of these things. And it says the rapid response mechanism Canada detected coordinated and malicious activity about Ms. Freeland. The launch of this information operation was traced to WeChat's most popular news account, an anonymous blog that has been previously linked by experts at the China Digital Times to the People's Republic of China. The Rapid Response Mechanism Canada identified over 30 WeChat news accounts taking part in the campaign. The campaign received very high levels of engagement and views, with WeChat news articles disparaging Mrs. Freeland netting over 140,000 interactions between January 29th and February 3rd, 2025. The RRM Canada estimates that 2 to 3 million WeChat users saw the campaign globally. On February 7th, which is today, a site briefed the executive of the Liberal Party and members of Freeland's leadership campaign about these findings. The members of site will continue to monitor the digital information environment for foreign information manipulation and to shine a light on hostile foreign state-backed information operations during the Liberal Party and leadership campaign. Now, if we do go back to the CTV article, there's a post from Chrystia Freeland saying, "I will not be intimidated by Chinese foreign interference. Having spent years confronting authoritarian regimes, I know firsthand the importance of defending our freedoms. Canada's democracy is strong. My thanks to our national security agencies for protecting it." Now, in my opinion, this kind of goes against what Hogue was trying to present in her report earlier in the week or last week. And if you saw Northern Perspective, they had the former CSIS member there. He alluded to her report being a little incorrect. Maybe she's in the pockets of somebody. But this also kind of indicates that it looks like China might be leaning to have one individual over another be picked. But as we pivot to the announcement from David and Rosemary, they bring up a very interesting point about how now that the Liberals are being affected with their campaign, things are coming out and being a little bit more transparent. Yet when the Conservatives brought this kind of information up regarding China interference back in the 2021 election where Kenny Chu was affected, none of this came out. Take a listen.
The site group, so this is the group that oversees interference and is supposed to flag these issues when they occur during an election, was able to identify 30 WeChat news accounts that were taking part in that campaign. There were over 140,000 interactions they saw between January 29th and February 3rd. And that they were disparaging Ms. Freeland is the language that they use there. We don't know exactly what was said because we're just getting this information, so we'll certainly try and find that out. CITE, this rapid response mechanism, did reach out to the executive of the Liberal Party of Canada today to let them know that this had happened. They also let Chrystia Freeland's leadership campaign know about the findings, and they continue to say that they are going to keep watching, obviously, to see if there's other attempts by foreign state-backed actors to get involved in this leadership campaign. Again, it is very unusual for this rapid response mechanism to do anything in a public way like this. So that shows you, I think, a couple of things. First of all, that they are taking this very seriously in light of some of the findings of the public inquiry on foreign interference. And I think the second part that it shows you is that China is very closely watching this leadership race, knowing that the person who wins will become Canada's next prime minister. So in this instance, it was Chrystia Freeland who was targeted. And they are making this public, obviously, because they want to be transparent about these things, because there's been criticism that they weren't transparent enough in the past.
It's interesting too, Rosie, because we have seen similar instances of WeChat being used in the Richmond East, I believe is the riding, where Kenny Chu, the Conservative candidate, complains he was the targeted of a smear campaign on WeChat about his support for a foreign agents registry. And the excuse at the time for not going public was that they felt that the media ecosystem had cleansed itself and they couldn't conclusively link it to the state of, to the People's Republic of China. But here they say an anonymous blog that has been previously linked by experts at the China Digital Times to the People's Republic of China. So I would say you're probably right. The experience of not acting then, having this link, and Justice Og saying the media ecosystem does not cleanse itself. You need to go public on these things. We have this.
And saying, again, in this release, that they detected coordinated and malicious activity about Ms. Freeland, that this was, it was clear what was happening here. We've obviously reached out to Chrystia Freeland's team to see if they have a response to this news that they themselves only just got today. But it certainly indicates that there is a level of sort of proactive response from the government that perhaps wasn't there before. The fact that CITE, the Security and Intelligence Threats to Elections Task Force, they are the same group, remember, that would oversee an election as well. Right. So they are obviously making a decision that they need to start raising flags very quickly once they see what they call malicious activity in this case.
Now, one thing I will agree with the Hogue report was that the government has not been as transparent as it should be. A lot of the times we were hearing these things firsthand from the media instead of the government. So this rapid response, I guess, is a move in the right direction, but interesting that it's only happening at this point instead of when it should be happening all the time. And if we go to a CBC article about Kenny Chu, it says the former BC MP says he lost his seat due to China allegedly meddling in the Canadian election. Kenny Chu says that he feels a deep sense of worry for our country. And as I mentioned, this was back in the 2021 election where he lost his riding, his seat. It says former Conservative BC Kenny Chu, who has been a vocal critic of China, says he was the target of a propaganda and disinformation on WeChat during the latest or the last election. So this isn't our first rodeo in regards to China. As Rosie pointed out, China's keeping an eye on the leadership race for the Liberals. So I guess only time will tell. I'll keep you guys updated with if I get any more information or if I see anything new. But yeah, that's it for tonight. Catch you guys on the next one. Enjoy your weekend.